The severity of the burning and size of the fires caught the eye of Tom Swetnam, one of the world's leading fire ecologists. He wanted to know what's touched off this annual inferno and whether it's truly a historic change.
Here, this is the giant sequoia collection.
At the University of Arizona, Swetnam keeps a remarkable woodpile. This is the largest collection of tree rings in the world. His rings go back 9,000 years, and each tree ring captures 1 year of climate history.
And if I'm reading this right, this ring right here is the birth of Christ.
That's correct.
Swetnam found recent decades have been the hottest in at least 1,000 years. He and a team of top climate scientists also discovered something else, a dramatic increase in fires high in the mountains, where fires were rare.
As the spring is arriving earlier because of warming conditions, the snow on these high mountain areas is melting and running off. The logs and the branches and the tree needles all can dry out more quickly and have a longer time period to be dry, and so there's a longer time period and opportunity for fires to start.
The spring comes earlier, so the fire season is just longer.
That's right. The fire season in the last 15 years or so has increased more than 2 months over the whole western U.S. So actually 78 days of average longer fire season in the last 15 years compared to the previous 15 or 20 years.
Swetnam says that climate change, global warming, has increased temperatures in the west about 1 degree, and that has caused 4 times more fires. Swetnam and his colleagues published those findings in the journal Science, and the world's leading researchers on climate change have endorsed their conclusions. But what was news to the scientists is something that Tom Boatner has noticed for about 10 years now.
This kind of low brush would normally be really moist and actually be a fairly good barrier to fire. But as I look at this, I just see wilted leaves everywhere. There's no moisture left in them. They're dead.
And look how easily it's burning.
Yeah.
Straight up the hill.
Even at the end of August at 6,000 feet in the Rocky Mountains, this fire is just cooking right along.
Professor Swetnam wanted to show us just how much has changed. So he brought us to the top of Arizona's Mount Lemmon. 2 megafires here killed nearly everything, even the ponderosa pines.
You know, I was always taught that ponderosas were big, robust trees that were built to withstand the fire.
Yeah.
And that when everything else burned off, the ponderosas were still standing.
Yeah.
But look at them.
The ponderosas are able to withstand the low severity fires where you get flames of maybe 1 to 2 or 3 feet high. But now the behavior of these fires is off the scale.
How much have things changed?
Well, we're seeing century-old forests that had never sustained these kinds of fires before being razed to the ground.
Back at the battle to save Ketchum, Idaho, the day shift was coming off, night shift going on.
How long does it take to bring a fire like this under control?
Well, this fire right now, this particular fire is about 45,000 acres, and they've been working on it for about 11 or 12 days. And they've got it about 50% contained, and with any luck, they'll finish containing this fire in another 4, 5, 6 days.
Containing it meant fighting fire with fire. Using drip torches, they started a controlled burn around the town, creating a barrier so that when the forest fire hit, there'd be nothing left to burn. These pre-burns are risky, though. Trees can torch suddenly and explosively like these, sending embers up to a mile away. By daybreak on the 18th day, the gamble had paid off. The blaze came within 100 feet of some homes, but not one home was lost. It will take years for this forest to recover. But Tom Swetnam told us that with these new super hot fires, some forests may never grow back.
You used to have forest soil here that might have been this deep, but now we're just down to rock.
You're just down to the rocks here.
Yeah, so you're down to mineral and sort of a rock, sort of armored soil, and that is not a good habitat for trees to reestablish.
Where do you think all this is headed?
As fires continue to burn, these mega fires continue to burn, we may see ultimately a majority, maybe more than half, of the forest land converting to other types of ecosystems.
Wait a minute, did you just say that there's a reasonable chance we could lose half of the forests in the West?
Yes, within some decades to a century, as warming continues and we continue to get large-scale fires.
Swetnam says that this is what we have to look forward to. He estimates that in the Southwest alone, nearly 2 million acres of forests are gone and won't come back for centuries. The hotshots are already planning for the next fire season. In 2006, the feds spent $2 billion on firefighting, 7 times more than just 10 years ago.
You know, there are a lot of people who don't believe in climate change.
You won't find them on the fire line in the American West anymore because we've had climate change beat into us over the last 10 or 15 years. We know what we're seeing, and we're dealing with a period of climate in terms of temperature and humidity and drought that's different than anything people have seen in our lifetimes.